Sources this morning, star receiver CeeDee Lamb says, I'm not showing up to Cowboy camp. Go ahead and find me. I think because of their scarcity of weapons, they just don't have much offensively right now. He's going to get his money in a new contract. And then I think by the end of the year, they'll pony up the Brinks truck for Micah and Dak. Listen, the last 8 seasons have been pretty good for the Cowboys. Pretty good. Better than most. 4 division titles, 5 playoff appearances. A couple playoff wins in 8 years isn't enough. But I think this season marks the slow, steady decline of the Cowboys. And you thought you'd seen the worst of it. Dak, in his prime still, probably late prime, will keep you relevant. He's a B-plus quarterback. But they are going to, and it'll start with CeeDee Lamb's contract, get absurdly top-heavy. That's why they couldn't spend any money. They're too top-heavy now in free agency. There's 2 factors that really play into this steady decline. The NFC was weak and wide open for the last several years, and they couldn't take advantage of it. Now San Francisco, Detroit, and Philadelphia are loaded, have much better rosters than the Cowboys. The Rams and the Packers have much better young talent. Atlanta, with Kirk Cousins, more good players offensively in an offensive league than Dallas. And watch out, because Chicago and Washington could both have star young quarterbacks on rookie contracts for the next 4 years, as Dak is making Mahomes money and limiting the Cowboys. I looked at their schedule this morning. There are 4 games they should be heavily favored. The Giants twice. New Orleans and Carolina. Probably favored over Tampa too, but it's close. Outside of that, every other game is a coin flip and very losable. And in most instances, in this offensive league, the teams they play have more good weapons. This is what happens when an 80-year-old man, Jerry Jones, 81-year-old man, Jerry Jones, sees himself as the general manager, and because he is front and center, he is leaned on very vanilla coaching. Parcells and Jimmy Johnson worked, and they're gone. It's been Jason Garrett, it's been Mike McCarthy, both capable, but in situational football moments, did you trust either? So the schedule is tough. They're going to get absurdly top-heavy. CeeDee Lamb probably wins this holdout. Their draft was graded as average. They're clearly rebuilding the offensive line. I'd call it uninspiring, and they didn't spend a nickel in free agency. This, to me, marks the beginning of a slow, steady decline for Dak's big money years, and I presume he'll sign a 4-year deal in the Patrick Mahomes range. Mark Sanchez yesterday sees the same issues.
Think about the difference between maybe Dak and the Cowboys his rookie year and the talent he had around him, the other explosive players. Who's going to help this team elevate suddenly, and where are the weapons? Who am I throwing to? Who's keeping the defensive coordinators up at night like, dang, what are we going to do about this guy? And that's, those are tough questions to ask going into a season. You want to have those things shored up. So I think the lack of depth is going to be tough, and this is going to be a lot on Dak's plate.
All right, so I saw this. NFL executives, NFL coaches, NFL scouts ranked the top 10 quarterbacks going into this league. By and large, I not only agree with the list, but I mostly agree with the order. Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Allen 3, Lamar 4, Matt Stafford 5, Justin Herbert 6, C.J. Stroud 7, cross your fingers on health, Aaron Rodgers 8, Jared Goff 9, Dak Prescott 10. 9 of 10 I agree with. I would not have Dak Prescott in the top 10. This feels like fear. People around the NFL, they're fearful of the regression you may see with Jordan Love. I'd love to see another 4 or 5 games. Jordan Love is better than Dak. You did watch a 27-0 lead in Dallas with a much younger team, full of guys 1 and 2 years out of college. He's more fluid. He's got a better whip as an arm. He moves better, fewer injuries. I mean, it wasn't close. Dak in that game looked anxious. He looked overwhelmed. He wasn't very accurate. He missed open receivers. You can't watch that game and tell me Dak is more talented, raw talent, than Jordan Love. And Jordan Love has better coaching, and he's got better arsenal of weapons at tight end and wide receiver. Jordan Love's going to be better than Dak Prescott. Folks, how long do you have to see something? How long do you have to watch a movie before you're like, this stinks? I always think that when I watch movies. If you can't get the first 12 to 15 minutes right, I'm out. That's all I give a Netflix or an Amazon Prime show. I'm going to give you 8 to 12 minutes. That's your shot to get me. If you watch a Narcos, if you watch Mindhunter, you can tell from the writing 10 minutes in, this is a good series. If you can't get me in the first 8, what's the middle of it going to look like? What's the ending going to look like? How many years do you have to see Dak be really great in the regular season against bad teams in his division? He doesn't beat good teams, because against good teams, you have to be better and more precise and elevate teammates. If you go look at last year's final 10 starts, including the playoffs, Jordan Love was outstanding. Third in the entire league in completion percentage. First in touchdown interception ratio. That's with kids at wide receiver and tight end. Kids and a young O-line. First in passer rating. 2,600 yards. I think this is fear about, well, he could go backwards. I trust the Packers on quarterbacks. Here's the other thing. Think about the quarterbacks. You tend to think, well, it takes a while. If you look at the star quarterbacks, you can go to the first camp of Mahomes, and video was leaking out of some of his sidearm stuff. Remember week 11, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert's first game, C.J. Stroud's first game, Joe Burrow's first half, Kyler Murray's first 4 or 5 games. You can spot talent early. I say this on all these music shows, The Voice, America's Got Talent. How long does it take you to go, oh, wow, that doesn't sound like everybody else? 8 seconds? You don't have to watch that much quarterback play. Now, Jordan Love sat for years. I said this forever. I had more footage of Bigfoot his first 3 years in Green Bay. You didn't even get practice footage. So I had no idea, and I thought he had a terrible September. But by late October, you're like, there's something there. And by November, you're like, wow, okay, yeah, that's a first-round quarterback. So if you're watching Jordan Love in Dallas last year and you're watching Dak, it wasn't even particularly close. More raw ability, more fluid, better whip, better movement. Not putting him in a top 10 right now is fear-based. And I think if you really are honest with C.J. Stroud and Burrow and Mahomes and Lamar, even Josh Allen was a little choppy early because of the turnovers. His talent was completely unmistakable. You could not watch Lamar or Josh Allen early, first couple of starts, and not go, wow. But these people waiting for Daniel Jones to pop. Folks, it's over. It's over. It doesn't work. That's why when you're watching Hard Knocks on HBO Max with the Giants, they wanted to move up and get Drake May. It's over. You don't have to watch a movie for an hour and a half to figure out if it's any good.